to comply.
Huh. I don't know what's not happening here. Did you try laying in a course?
Well, no, I tried accessing the panel, but it's locked.
Computer, please give me access. Please give me command, in fact, of Live Long and Podcast.
Unable to comply.
Stupid computer.
Please do not address this unit in that manner.
Oh, sorry. Please give me command of Live Long and Podcast.
Please input command codes.
Command codes. Do we have command codes?
Just a second. What do you got?
Check an email or something.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Here.
Oh, okay, sweet.
Command codes verified.
Oh, here we go.
Locutors of Trek. On screen.
Ahoy. And welcome to Locutors of Trek Piracy Edition. Were you expecting to see Live Long and Podcast? Well, you've got us tonight. And we are Davan and Dave, a.k.a. Plain Simple Tailors.
And your very own Locutors of Trek.
That's indeed what we are. We're taking over tonight. Live Long and Podcast needed a vacation. So we, or perhaps it was a hostile takeover. Not important, really, because we're here to review Lower Decks, which we love. Season 3, Episode 2, The Least Dangerous Game. Early thoughts. Did you like it?
Oh, I thought it was a clever episode, yeah.
Me too. But before we get started on The Least Dangerous Game, because neither of us were here for the first episode, what did you think of the first one, the first Contact callback episode?
Previously on Lower Decks.
Yeah, previously on Lower Decks. Well, I don't have that, but you know what? I do have an X-Men show, so what I do have is...
Previously on X-Men.
Lower Decks.
It's just one of the other X teams.
Cyclops joined Starfleet.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well,
he would
be the only guy with a visor in that case.
Yeah, exactly. I like this idea.
Yeah. Scott Summers. Lieutenant Scott Summers.
So, Magic Carpet Ride. I mean, Lower Decks. Episode 1. What'd you think?
I loved seeing the park and museum that Geordi mentions in First Contact and the way they envision it. It's like old Sturbridge Village for people in the 24th century. Like it's great.
The great thing about this show is like the fan service is so clever that it doesn't feel like fan service. It's just like, oh, so clever. That was great. Or such a deep cut. Or
well, exactly, right? Like it's very it's very lovingly done, right?
Yeah.
I like that. The attention to detail shows that there's a lot of care. I mean, the geography of the place even looked pretty similar in the animation, which, I appreciated that very much.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Plus, they made fun of the Golden Gate Bridge, which I think is just good fun to do in Star Trek. She's right. Nobody drives.
I like the bridge. Everyone likes the bridge. She's just like, nobody even drives.
It's a Lower Decks joke, though, too, right? Everybody likes the bridge.
And Mariner doesn't have time for stuff like that. Like, she's not nostalgic or anything. If it doesn't have a function, she just thinks it's stupid.
Yeah.
Or if it's not fun. But we'll put our ratings up later for episode 1 as well, since we weren't here. But
Starship Heist, let me just say. I did enjoy that.
Yeah, very cool. I agree. That ship finds a way to get into the news. But all right, so let's get going on season 3, episode 2, The Least Dangerous Game.
Wendler tries new things.
where Boimler tries new things and stops planning.
Yeah.
So it starts off. We have a nice game happening here between friends. A game of. Well, the funny thing. Okay, I got to talk about this right away. So, have you ever played that game where it's like it was a VHS game and it was a TNG game, and there was a Klingon guiding you through the game, and it was played by Robert O'Reilly, but he wasn't Gowron. He had another name because he made you call him it all the time. If you didn't call him by it, he like killed you or something. Oh, don't worry, I got this. So, yeah, it reminded me of that game. If you haven't played that game, listeners, check it out. I don't even know what it's called. I think it was called like the TNG video game or something. Anyway, I already had the word Klingon in it. I don't think so. But it was very good. It reminded me of that. There's another sweet image of them. Yeah. So, and they reference that game again later, but I'll get into that. It's like that's another deep cut I love. I'm like, I can't believe they're talking about this game because it's a great game.
Oh yeah.
So it's an opening. We have Martok.
Gonna roll a natural 20. It's wonderful.
Oh wait, I might have that here. 1 second.
The blood of my enemies is forever immortalized on my ducktog.
Oh, yeah, that's what's funny. So you first see him and you think it's just him, and he's not this like fake version of him on a video game. It's just like, oh, sweet, Martok's in this episode. Not quite. Perhaps a Ferengi facsimile.
Well, I really made me
a good one.
Some Klingon war right after the Dominion War, right?
Yeah. So pretty hilarious stuff.
My death will be ecstasy, a glorious end that will take me straight to Stovall. I have honored my house, but will you?
Will you? I love this game. I want to play this game. But this sounds exactly like that game. The Gowronish character in this VHS game talks exactly like that, too. He calls you Patak and stuff all the time. It's pretty funny.
How many soldiers of the Klingon Empire will be proving their Toduj? 4. I heard 4.
I heard 4. It's an interactive game, though, so it is better than the VHS.
Kind of reminds me of those, what are they, Jack in the Box games or whatever they call it? Jackbox.
Oh, yeah, I remember Jackbox.
They're great fun.
Yeah.
Kapla! You've rolled an 18, which means the Patak is frozen in fear by your battle cry.
Okay, while he's cowering, I strike him down with my mekla.
The Patak is frozen in fear. I love this game. I want to play it so bad.
It's a good intimidation.
And they're all in costumes, which is pretty cool. They're all getting real into this game.
Well, this would be a thing you could really do with a replicator around, right? You just replicate yourself a nice set of sort of faux Klingon forehead and some stuff would be great.
No, this is one of my favorite opening scenes.
Maybe that's part of the hobby.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like painting your Warhammer.
Yeah, well, as a D&D player, does this resonate with you?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. I loved this opening. I've been playing D&D since 7 years old, I think. So the thrill of rolling close to or actually a 20 when you're rolling your attack roll is just it's a pretty great moment, you know?
Even an 18 is enough to freeze a Patak in fear.
Good. Mm-hmm. And it's clear they're using the D20 system. It looks pretty likely, which is nice to see that side of survival all the way in the 21st century. Gary Gygax, big shout out.
No, I didn't quite catch the name of the game they were playing. It said Batless, but then it also said something in Klingon. Yeah. I didn't catch the or something, but very cool. It's like Dungeons and Dragons. It's probably just like Batless and Duck Togs or something.
Yes. Some beginning with a B, I'm assuming.
But then like they're talking about how it's a Ferengi knockoff, and they were looking forward to getting the Gowron expansion, which is another hilarious nod to that game. VHS game, because he looks just like Gowron. It's Robert O'Reilly, but the nods in this are crazy. So anyway, so then Ransom cuts in and calls Mariner, and she's complaining about Ransom's riding her ass all the time, and they got a whole competitive thing going on.
I would love to be a number one's number one.
But Boimler, he would love it if Ransom was riding his asses. Number one's number one.
I thought his line was going to be entirely different than what he says. But
Boimler never ceases to be surprising. Like, it's pretty funny.
I would love to be a number one's number one.
Finger slip. Here we go.
Doesn't start for an hour.
I know. You're almost late for being early.
You're almost late for being early. If you want to be a command officer, Mariner, it's like Rutherford's just like, she's like, you coming? He's like, no, I'll just be regular early.
He's only a kind of keener.
Yeah, exactly. He switches professions a lot.
Yeah.
Divisions. Yeah.
Well, and this relationship between commander and subordinate, I like the way that they sort of pair that throughout the episode in various ways, right? Even what Andy and Boimler do later takes on that sort of like mentor relationship.
Well, yeah, and the thing about Ransom and Mariner too is like, other than in rank, they're kind of like equals. I don't think they're that far. Like Ransom's probably older, but I don't think they're that far off in age. But like on a kind of competence level, they seem to be fairly equal.
Well, they both have considerable experience, yeah, for sure.
So it's interesting, and he knows that, so he likes to give her a hard time. So it's pretty funny. I like their relationship.
He chafes at the insubordination as well, right? Like it's clear that her specific style of messing around really pisses him.
And then we hear about Captain Vendome of the Englewood, who got a battlefield commission.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a Bolian, I believe. Well, yeah, that Bolian guy, exactly.
Proud tradition of Captain Ricks.
But it's funny, yeah. Boimler's just like, oh, I don't do anything without a plan.
No way! I'm not trying to get cave killed.
I'm not trying to get cave killed. It's very Star Trek. There's just a lot of cave killings. Unless they have, Calbanite. And then the caves are very strong and very useful, even against crystalline entities.
That's true. That is a good unkill.
But I guess I jumped ahead a little, because what Ransom is butting in to say is he needs Mariner's help on fixing some space elevators.
They're not elevators. They're orbital lifts.
That's right. I was going to say they're orbital lifts.
Yeah, they're orbital lifts. I apologize.
Can we just take a moment to let's just be happy that this is a version of Star Trek where that can be beautifully represented.
What, an orbital lift?
With sort of live action actors and all that graphic stuff, but in this animated format, an orbital lift, or for those who like it, a space elevator. Like it's actually, they're quite graceful and elegant when you see them in the episode. They're really lovely things.
I've always wanted Earth to have one, or a space tether or something like that.
Well, the Chinese are planning to build one, so we'll see if they make it.
Well, I'm all for it.
Man, more power to them if they can do it, right? Somebody's a space elevator. I mean, honestly, it would change space travel for us so profoundly. It would bring transporting things into orbit down to the price of hundreds of kilograms, or hundreds per kilogram instead of 10,000 or 100,000 per kilogram.
Well, and for me, it's an environmental thing. Just be able to do that instead of giant rocket fuel explosions seems to be a good thing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It would facilitate a whole new space economy. It would be absolutely incredible.
And you'd think we're getting a bit on a tangent here, but you think with, half of it being in space above the atmosphere, you could really power it with solar. You'd think you could really tap into some sun up there.
I would think there'd be a significant capacity for that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But again, that was a tangent. Back to Vendome.
Did you know that Vendome staffed his whole bridge crew with bullions?
Ooh, I didn't, but that's really cool.
I know, right?
It's like that all Vulcan ship.
That's just what I was going to mention. It's sort of a proud tradition in Starfleet, right? To like have these moments of representation. And I like it that the other Starfleet folks are not seeing that as exclusive. But like, oh, look at that. That's great. Like they've decided to sort of make a real Boolean sort of way of doing things there. It's interesting.
It'd be interesting. They wouldn't have to worry about their caustic body fluids.
Just let it all hang out, man.
At least on the bridge. I don't know if the rest of the ship is Booleans. But it'd be interesting. Because Booleans they're the butt of the joke sometimes, the Booleans. But a Boolean ship would be nice to see. You couldn't sneak up. Can't we try to sneak up on a few Booleans? You couldn't sneak up on a Boolean to save your life. Anyway.
Well, you know one thing about that ship. You'd never be blue.
Or you'd always be blue. But yeah, so Vendome, Boimler's jealous, and he's just like, how comes I can't? I try so hard. How comes I can't get a promotion?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, that's the problem.
Yeah, Vendome runs away screaming from things, but like he's everywhere. He tries everything.
Yeah, exactly. He says yes to everything. You just pay it off. But so Boimler decides he's going to start taking risks and saying yes to things.
And more than that, he declares he's going to be bold Boimler.
Yes, bold Boimler.
And there are moments in his dialogue in the episode where it sounds like he's sorry, just one moment. I'll be right back.
Fortune favors the bold, you could say.
Right.
And Boimler recognizes this. So we get back to Mariner and Ransom, and they're on the orbital lift, and they're talking about the Delanians. And, oh, wait a minute. Did I jump ahead again?
For Grand Central Station tonight. Ooh.
You all right? All right.
Yeah. What I was going to say...
Oh, no, we're good.
Distracted was... what I was going to say was the thing that his dialogue reminds me of is actually that opening statement from both the original series and TNG, right? He's sort of taking on part of that Starfleet spirit to like boldly go. I think he hasn't really considered as valuable before. Like that's
he seems a little too buttoned down for Starfleet.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I hope we're going to see more of Boimler. Maybe not emulating Mariner, but maybe even entering into a bit of that competition she has with I've lost his name. Ransom.
Well, I think what we see with the relationship between those two is they both need to be a little bit more like each other. And so we hear we're with Ransom and Mariner, and they talk about how it's the Delanians. That this orbital tether is on their planet. Delania? I don't know. But they're the Delanians.
Well, and like the interesting reason, right? Their atmosphere precludes transporting.
Yeah.
So they've got
that was interesting.
Yeah.
And he decides to send Billups and Rutherford down to do the command mission, essentially, which is, the meet and greet down on the planet. And they'll fix the orbital tether, Ransom and Mariner. Just, I don't know what his deal was with this whole plan, actually. But
to me, the premise under which he undertakes this, to me, is like maybe the weakest point in the episode script. Because, like, it really seems like a pretty wackadoo notion.
But as a story point, it works because it shows the skill set of the command officers and the engineers, because you always see the skill set of the engineers, but you're like, what are the command officers? Are they actually good at anything?
Well, and that as a turnaround on it, I thought was really interesting. But yeah, it's a premise that helpfully we have Mariner questioning that premise all the time, even though that honestly is a lovely moment where she has to self-correct in the middle of it, right?
Yeah.
It was. I thought it was a very tightly, cleverly written episode that way because, like that moment for me with Ransom, where he sort of made that decision, which almost makes a kind of equivalence. Like, you can replace any Starfleet person with any Starfleet person. Is such a bold mistake that it sort of strained credulity for a minute, but I can see what they were up to with the rest of the episode. Like they really took a risk with that, I guess is what I'm saying. But the rest of the episode, I think, does kind of manage to pull it back out of the fire in a way. But yeah, they really they show a side of Ransom which is not at all flattering.
Except he's like totally unfussed by all the problems that are happening down on the planet. He's just like responding to them like, yeah. So get a parlay.
Yeah, that's what speak for that.
Yeah. Stand up straight. It works. Trust me. It's like, okay, well, we'll try it. Phillips and Rutherford are not that guy. That's what's funny though. Those two are not command officers.
No, they're happy fixing things and building things,
But so Boimler decides to play spring ball because he's asked to play spring ball, and Shax is playing, and a lot of other pretty hardcore officers playing some pretty tough spring ball. Yep. Yeah. And but Boimler sticks it out. He hangs in there. Yeah. And Shax approaches him afterwards, and he's just like, I respect you, Boimler. He's just like, why? Because I played spring ball with you guys? He's just like, no, the way you like screamed when I like body checked you or whatever, that sustained scream was quite good. He's like, I have a choir. And I need a soprano.
I run a choir when I'm off duty. Bajoran dirges.
What a depressing way to like enjoy music. It's in your dirge choir. I love Shaq so much. He was already my favorite character, and like that just cemented it. In his dirge choir.
Oh man,
Shaq's is gold.
I confess, the dirge choir reminded me. I just recently went to see the new Thor movie in theaters.
Oh yeah, very cool.
It reminded me of my favorite character in that movie, which is the goats.
Oh yeah, they just scream a lot.
Oh my god!
I just like Thor's reaction though. They're just like gorgeous creatures. Everyone else is horrified.
Series. I just want them to show up in every Marvel property from now on.
Oh yeah, I don't think Tooth Gnasher and freaking Bone Crusher, whatever the other one's called, we're going anywhere. What a way to arrive to like a battle or anything. Thor pulls up in this chariot with his screaming goats. It is pretty great.
Yeah, but that's really what I was imagining when I was seeing this Bajoran dirge music. It's just this room full of these goats going, ah!
You honor the prophets with that pitch, Bradward.
That's what I always want to hear when I sing. I just want some Bajoran to come up to me and be like, you honor the prophets with your pitch, Davin. That would be awesome. I can hit that pitch.
Yeah, very nice. Lovely job.
Thanks.
Honor the prophets.
You have to put up with my singing all the time.
No, what I was going to say was it's kind of an interesting sideways comment on like what could be a reasonably understandable development of the Bajoran culture at that time too, right? Like songs of mourning and actually voice it and make it kind of manifest, right? Could be a huge art form for them.
That's another great thing about the jokes in this show is that the ideas behind them could easily be presented as a dramatic delivery as well. It's like there could have been a DS9 episode where Kira just mentions that there's like a style of music of funeral dirges, or more likely like Quark would have joked about how depressing Bajorans are because they even have like funeral dirge music or that sort of thing. But yeah, it fills out the world. It's hilarious. This show is fantastic. Okay, so where are we at here? So yeah, Boimler Shax loves him now, says he owes him a favor. Saying yes is working out for Boimler. So he says yes to really everything. So somebody else comes up and asks him to be a life model.
Oh, that's
He's like,
right.
have you ever been a life model for oil? Or something like that.
It's skeletal to do this.
Yeah.
Skeletal boy, I think he said something.
Yeah, a skeletal boy. He's like, well, okay.
I mean, that's Bradford Boimler, that's for sure.
Oh god, that's hilarious. So then we're back to Ransom and Mariner, and they're trying to fix the thing.
I'd barely call this lifting. Oh, yeah.
She's just like, are you lifting over there? He's just like, no, I'd barely call this lifting.
He's doing squats into a general work area.
Yeah, he never really stops lifting. You gotta admire that.
He's feeling
and then they hear from Rutherford and Billets.
I'll tell you, these Delanians are a friendly people. You know they kiss instead of shaking hands?
With tongue!
Yeah, with tongue!
It's like earlier too, they're just like, hey, are they one of those species that are like super open and forward sexually and all this stuff? He's just like, they're a fit people.
That's right. Their culture is about well-being.
Yeah, that's what it was. It's like, yes, their culture of well-being.
Because
God,
the same outfits as those the folks that try to put Wesley Crusher to death.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what the play was there for sure. Somebody should have fell into the flowers.
Yeah, that's true. But
it too on the nose, maybe.
Wrong soon enough.
True. So then back in the Cerritos mess, they're hosting everyone who is stranded on the orbital lift. Where you see this very big, kind of imposing fellow pacing, kind of agitated in the background while Boimler is talking with Tendi. And they're approached by him, a fellow named Cranch. And he says he's quite agitated because his people are hunters.
And they have an undeniable impulse to hunt.
Yes, indeed. Much like a Hirogen, perhaps.
You know, or a kitty.
Or a kitten. You're not wrong. I have one here hunting my feet at the moment.
Oh
my god! I
pull up the kitten.
I have to. Okay, I can pull up the kitten.
Oh my god! You just.
All right, get out of here, you. Go play with Miles. Miles is down there too. All right. So he asks if he can hunt either Boimler or Tendi, and Boimler's just like, "Oh yeah, I'm down for this hunting kind of thing because I'm saying yes to everything." And Tendi's like, "No, you don't have to say yes to everything, not this thing." He's like, "Oh, but it's working out so well for me. Shax loves me. Let's do it."
Landy anymore? Or Landry, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like it in this scene the way what they did with switching to Cranch's viewpoint. So you get that sort of reticle and very much the viewpoint of the predator.
You are now my prey.
Yes, he pulls out his own tooth and marks Boimler across the forehead with it.
A lot of teeth. I assume.
Yeah, they probably grow back like a shark.
So, yes.
They have rows. Yeah. But he tells Boimler he has an hour to hide, and then he's going to hunt him. And then back at the lift, Ransom's really bad at fixing stuff. He's trying to like watch some video on how to fix it. He's just like, what is this like lady even talking about?
Regulators. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, what's a regulator?
Mariner is at this point is becoming increasingly exhausted by his sort of pushing this point beyond what she sees as all
Yeah.
reason, you know.
Yeah, because as we mentioned, what was the point of this whole freaking Freaky Friday switcheroo here? I
Exactly.
mean, not really Freaky Friday, but you get my point.
Yeah.
So
why push them out of these roles? But the whole episode, I suppose, in that sense, thematically, is about being outside your comfort zone.
So Phillips calls back in Rutherford, and they're in a big trouble because they went into the spiritual temple without showing their navels.
That's right.
And they're in big trouble for that. And I think they're gonna sacrifice Phillips. Was it Rutherford? No, I think they're gonna sacrifice Phillips in a sentient volcano, or they think it's sentient. Maybe it's unclear.
It might be a hyper intelligent baby. They're not.
Right. Okay. Also, their leader is either an ancient god or a telepathic baby. They're kind of dancing around it.
Couldn't it be a telepathic baby god? Either or, it never works. So I mean, they're panicking at this point, right?
Yeah, they are
beyond what they can.
But it's pretty funny. And so Boimler tries to reason with Cranch. He's just like, "Hey, man, like is this like a metaphorical hunt, or like what?" He's just like, "No," and like it's already begun actually. But first, he has this there are 3 types of prey. He's like, there's a kind that like cowers and hides. You are this type 1. He's like, "What is type 2?" He's just like, "Type 2 is like runs and tries to escape." He's like, "What about type 3?" He's just like, "It's like a winged reptilian creature. Yeah, it doesn't really have anything to do with you." Oh, Cranch. What a guy.
It's always like it's a winged reptilian creature.
And then the hunt begins.
Mm-hmm.
There he is. There's Cranch chasing old boys.
His face, by the way, reminds me of one of the species in the Mass Effect series of video games.
Interesting.
It is right now, but I'm sure some people actually knows and will remember these things better than me.
And it does have its nods to Predator even as well.
Yeah, for sure.
It's interesting. Cranch. I wonder what his species is. But so he's running and he throws his like boomerang thing that's chasing Boimler. And Boimler runs into cetacean ops. But they never want any part of anything. They're always just like, "Get out of my pool," or like cetacean ops.
Shoes on, that's gross.
Yeah, that's gross. So that doesn't really work out for him. But then he escapes and he runs into the captain. And he asks the captain for help.
She is good.
Captain, you gotta help me. I'm being hunted.
What? Not on my ship. That's totally unacceptable.
I love Freeman.
Until
she just never really cares about anything. You can tell, like you can see why she's on the worst ship in the fleet because she's just like so nonchalant about everything. What? That's totally unacceptable.
I'm gonna go be a captain about that. It is. It occurs to her to be a captain. Right?
Yeah.
So once she hears who it is, though, she's perfectly happy with letting him hunt.
Yeah, she likes Cranch. She's just like, "Did you agree to do it? We had a nice brunch earlier, and he was really itching to hunt somebody. So it's great that you agreed to it. And, we have to be Starfleet officers of our word here, Boimler."
And I think in that moment manages to impress the captain, right?
Yeah, I think so. He goes through with it. So Billups is being sacrificed. Ransom doesn't seem too fussed about it. He's just like, no, ask for a parlay. Show your navel. Do what you got to do, Make it happen. It happens all the time, these things. You just go and talk to them.
Yeah.
Every time they talk, it just makes it worse.
Well, you can clearly see that they really don't have, not that they don't have diplomatic instincts, but they really don't have any diplomatic training. They don't.
Yeah, that flexibility and familiarity with these types of situations.
Yeah, right? That interpersonal stuff is just really not their expertise, and it's fair enough. And I think this is the point at which, Mariner just kind of loses it, right?
Yep. She decides to space jump.
Which is amazing.
Yep.
I love this.
We do, man. It makes sense, too, because they can't beam down or anything like that. So, very cool.
Why not do like...
And, but like Boimler calls her, or not Boimler, but Ransom calls her halfway down. It's just like, look, we gotta, I'm sorry. I was a little hard on you.
Yeah.
But I think we got to go save these silly engineers because they're really in trouble. So come back here and or like meet me here and we'll deal with it, because certainly you didn't do anything. And it's great that you didn't do anything rebellious or anything, even though you didn't agree with me. So she climbs all the way back up the space elevator, and it's done like a rock wall because these people, like I say, very fit.
Yes.
So it's a climbing wall. So Boimler's hiding again, and he sets off that game, the Martok game.
Right.
Yeah.
It's an argument with Martok, basically.
And he's quivering. He's very fearful. But Martok, the game, he's like, "What do I do, Martok, the game?" Basically, and Martok, like,
The only way you can lose now is by letting your foe define who you are. Never back down. Never cower.
Today is a good day to die.
today is well, you don't say that part to Boimler.
No.
That would scare him a little.
That would have ended the whole rush right there.
But he stands up and he decides he's going to be bold Boimler, and he's going to hunt back, And then Cranch like immediately impales him with a spear.
And again, Boimler demonstrates that he has a wonderful sustained scream.
He's a natural soprano.
Shax would have been proud. It's just emerging right away.
I run a choir when I'm off duty, but you're in dirges. You honor the prophets with that pitch, Bradward.
Oh, my goodness.
That's my new favorite thing. I think that's probably I bet you they sound a lot like that, all the other dirges. Just like slight changes in pitch, like what differentiates them.
A real departure. Just go, oh, for a while.
But then, Boimler thinks he's going to die, and then Cranch just jumps down and takes a selfie. He's just like, all right, the hunt is now over. And he's just like, what? He's just like, oh, yeah, well, we catch and release.
Oh, yeah, they value all life.
Yeah, that's why we hunt. He's like...
We just like to poke it. We like to poke all.
So that's pretty funny. And then he takes another selfie.
Yeah.
And Mariner's making her way up the climbing wall. Gets back to Ransom without him noticing. Yeah, Ransom's just like, all right, we're like, gonna space jump.
Or something. Exactly.
She's just like, really? Do we have to? She's like exhausted. Like, yep. We're gonna space jump. We're gonna save the engineers. And then we're at the sacrifice, and we do see the psychic baby, and the co-ruler god thing, which is a sentient computer.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have a psychic baby and a sentient computer ruling the make out with tongue people.
Yes. There's a system of checks and balances.
Yeah, he's like, it's really getting complicated. Oh, God. This show's so funny. So then Ransom comes down and he demands parley.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And so he just like immediately just sort of like rips off his shirt and impresses them with his jacked abs and rippling pecs. And he was clearly covered in baby oil.
Yes.
He was very shiny. He was pre-baby oiled. Just ready.
Uh,
So he impresses these people with his jack bod.
I also noticed
And,
when he does that, when Mariner smirks behind him. She's checking him out again.
Oh, yeah, there's something going on there. I don't know if she's still dating Jennifer or not. Because at the end of that last season, she started dating whatever Jennifer.
Oh, that's right.
But who knows with Mariner? But Mariner, they're having their like classic end of a Star Trek episode, one-on-one talk in the captain's, not the captain's quarters, but the captain's ready room.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you always have episodes that end with that. You know, and that's where you get your message or your final speech from usually Picard. It's like, look, Worf, or look, Data, like one of these things. But that's when you see where Mariner's impressed with Ransom as well. Like she's just like, yeah, right, you're actually pretty good on a mission and on a planet and in a pinch.
Yeah.
And then so they have their little thing, and that's that. And then back to the game. Wait, what's this image? Oh, there they are. That's when they were having a good time. There's the Delanians.
Before the debacle with the temple.
Before the naval thing there. It says an Audi. They're gonna sacrifice him.
Freak out.
What is this?
Conceivable.
Obscene.
That's right.
But then back to the board game. We're gonna finish the game. They got the costumes back on. Bourne was just like, "No, if this has worked out, I think I'm done with plans for the foreseeable future." And then Bourne takes his turn.
I confidently enter the bar and demand blood wine.
The bartender rips your arm off and kills you with it. It is not an honorable death, since technically you have died by your own hand.
Oh god, best end to a Klingon game, D&D game ever. It is not an honorable death. Oh god. So yeah, that was pretty great.
It's a great.
And then you see an advertisement for like the Gowron expansion.
Yes.
And then the episode ends.
Pretty
freaking good episode, I think.
Yeah, I thought it was very tight. They're getting. You can see as the seasons progress that they're getting rapidly more confident, telling more challenging stories with these characters as well. They're not like the humor is much deeper into the story. I find,
and the character development sticks as well.
Yeah,
like even more so than like in a Voyager where everything seemed to be rebooted every episode almost. Like the character development really sticks for these characters, so you start to really love these characters.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that brings us to our ratings. Let's see if I can figure this out, actually. I'm doing things.
How does the rating system work?
Out of 10, you can even get into decimals if you like. And I tend to rate series within themselves because I feel it's unfair to put anything up against how I would rate Deep Space Nine, for example.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So, is this the one? Oh, here we go. So I can share this. Tell me if you can see this here. Can you see this? No. Probably not. Oh, add to stream. And then we do something like this here. Or this one. Oop, I had it.
Oh my gosh,
nope.
That's great. No?
Oh, is this the one? Oh, I had it again. Is this the one? Yeah, there we go. So there's the ratings. And wait. Is that the right ratings? Let me go look. So, what do we got here?
Lower decks down here. Third from the bottom.
Let's look at Lower Decks episode ratings. Here we go. So, we go down to season 3 here. Right. Let's put in our. Oh, come on now.
Must have gone too far.
I believe I've gone quite a bit too far. Okay. I'm bad at this part of the job. So for me, I'm going to go back and do the last episode. And well, you go first. What do you want to give the last episode? You're first on here. It says Puxley because there's already a Dave.
I love the vineyard joke. I love the raisins joke. I love all those vineyard lasses who just wanted to and he has no clue at all. Oh God, I love
like, God, just take a shower if you have mud on you. Like, why are you harassing me?
I would give the opener. I'd give it an 8.
An 8, okay. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna see that as well. I'm gonna say an 8 as well. It was cool seeing Zephram Cochran, James Cromwell back again doing that. Yeah. Are you seeing these 8s as I put them on?
I am.
Okay, cool. I totally figured this out. I'm gonna have to apply this to the X-Men podcast. We'll see.
Spreadsheet.
So now the least dangerous game.
I don't think it's quite as strong an episode, but that jump was exhilarating and the space elevators were awesome. So it's very close. I would give it a 7.8.
7.8 from Dave. I'm actually a little different than you on this episode. I think it was better than the first one. I loved all this Martok stuff. Loved it. So I'm going to give this one an 8.5. It did have a couple of flaws in the storytelling, like you say, like Ransom's motivations and that type of thing. But Ransom's just weird like that. Who knows what the hell he was thinking?
Yeah, and I feel like that was more of like a gamble than anything else, you know. And luckily, they kind of stick landing in the rest of the episode. But yeah.
Well, I see Dave had already put in his, and Dave gave it a 7. So we brought the average up. We're a little more positive than these live long and podcasters. Actually, not last episode. Dave gave the first one an 8.5. Dave likes a bit of first contact, though. Oh yeah. And Murphy not so high on it, a 6. That's a little harsh there, Murphy. Come on now.
Yeah.
So this episode was directed by Jason Zurich. No, it wasn't. The last one was. This one was directed by Michael Mullen and written by Garrick Bernard.
Fortunately named.
Yeah. And, the featured character they usually write in here. Featured character, Boimler, I guess. This is a Boimler probably episode.
In many ways, more episode. Boimler Mariner, I suppose, really.
Yeah, I'm going to say Boimler, I guess. And the main story point.
He's growing.
I think the main story point is the differences between command officers and engineers, really. And being free, or not too rigid.
Getting out of your, maybe it's just boldness.
Yeah, getting out of your comfort zone or something like that, maybe, eh?
Yeah, outside the box, yeah.
Oh, yeah, getting outside the box. We'll put that. Yeah, so I think we've done it. Nice. By Gar. Victory. I can remove all that. Yeah. Oh, wait, we have a comment.
Go away.
Oh, it's Sam. Hey, Sam. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Sam.
Did you enjoy the episode, Sam? Did you watch the episode? It's a good episode. Lower Decks. Pretty great stuff. So, guess that. Oh, my God. Arcade. Oh, my cat's outside. I'll come get you. We're almost done here, buddy. You started university today? Awesome stuff, Sam. Yeah, Dave knows all about universities. You can speak at length about universities to you, Sam, but we don't have time. But we have a podcast.
Schools.
We have a podcast called Leaders of Trek.
Indeed.
It's a good show. We do themed discussions shown through the lens of Star Trek. Yeah, we just went on comedy. What did we say the next one on was going to be? Entertainment or something like that, or
something like that, yeah.
Or
thought about a few things.
Yeah, well, we've got 2 more in the first season coming, and the last one will be on the metaphysics of Star Trek. But we have other fun games. We've got a Trouble with Trivia coming up. Cousin Dave, not this Dave who's here with us tonight. Cousin Dave's been banned from Trouble with Trivia by the trivia master herself, Ashley Millard.
He does kind of mop the floor with everyone.
He mops the floor with us. He could be cheating. We don't know, so he has to go. We don't know how he's doing it.
Powerful memory palace.
Sam says that. Sam asks if I know that the last 2 past Survivor contestants have written for Lower Decks. I did not know that, but I have a feeling Dave knew that. Cousin Dave. He definitely knows.
This Dave is not a Dave.
No. When's our next Locutors podcast? Sam asks. Well, like I say, we'll probably do something live, like a Trouble with Trivia, or maybe a Debate 9 before the next episode comes out. But let's try to get that next episode in the next week or 2. Yeah. We'll be on that. We haven't been as regular with it as we should be. We were back in the day, but we have a great back catalog. Go back and check all that out. Lots of stuff. Lots of fun discussions for Dave. Dave-isms. We have Dave-isms.
It's true. I do go on a bit.
Dave likes to wax poetic about things. It's very good. It's our brand.
Oh, man. That's how we do it. That's how we roll.
That's how we do it. It is how we roll. What does this thing do? This could be fun. Cisco. Oh. If you have something to say, then say it. That's what Dave believes in our show, and so do I. So that's what Locutors of Trek is all about. But, when you're done checking out our back catalog, there's other things you can check out. You can check out the other stuff here on Live Long Podcasts. I don't see any cool banners for that. Oh, what does this do? Can you see that? Oh, yeah, there you go. Live Long Podcast up in the corner there. Check that out. They do other stuff, reviews. They're doing Enterprise right now. They do Deep Space Nine on Tuesdays, Enterprise on Mondays. I show on some of those sometimes. I was there on Deep Space until I had to bail. So I forgot to take the garbage out and stuff like that. So, it happens. Life interludes.
It's true.
But, we have a united empire of podcasts coming. Speaking of that, I have another podcast here on the corner. You can see that there. X-Rated, the X-Men Animated Review Show. We are on Season 3, Episode 8 we just did on Tuesday, which was... Oh, geez, what was that episode called? That was the Cyclops one. It was the Purple Man one. It was called No Mutant is an Island. Yeah. So we just did that one. Interesting. You want to hear about X-Men? Segments galore. It's a bit of a crazy show. A nice train wreck of a review show. And we have interviews with X-Men alum. We've had Norzan, the voice of Rogue, on there, the producers and showrunners, writers and artists, Marvel comic artists join us from time to time. Lots of fun stuff up in the next video. And check out the other Super Mater Brothers stuff and Trivial Debates. See, I don't have all these. Where are all these? I should have big banners for this, Dave. It's not my fault. But Trivial Debates as well. I was just on there. And I'm hosting the next one, which is going to be an all-music edition of Trivial Debates. So that'll be fun. I have my questions out there. Would you like to hear? I don't know, actually, if I can say what the questions are, because I don't think the contestants have heard them yet.
Oh, let's know.
Sam wants to know, David, do you like Assignment Earth?
Assignment Earth?
You remember that show? That was like a 90s show. Man. I don't remember it being very good, though, Sam. Sam, the question is, do you like Assignment Earth? Because you're the one that asked the question. So I'm thinking you may like Assignment
Earth. But so I don't think I'm competent to answer that question.
Cousin Dave probably does, because he also likes Babylon 5. And if you can like that, you can like anything.
I love Babylon 5.
People named Dave like Babylon 5.
Let's be honest. First season of that show is really rough going.
But real rough.
It just gets better and better.
It does get better. Oh, I see what he's getting at now. I'm wrong. He's talking about the TOS series episode assignment. Oh, yeah, there's a controversy here at Live Long and Podcast on whether that's a good episode or not. I enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
If I remember the episode correctly, Assignment Earth is Gary 7, is that right?
That's Gary 7, yeah.
Yeah, I like that
because
episode. It's not the
because
best episode.
father of Dave Mater, Ted Mater, once called Jody, who we've had on the show on the Debate 9, an idiot. You see, for not liking Gary 7.
Ah, interesting. I'll have to rewatch it. I think it's a fine episode. It doesn't stand out to me. It's no Balance of Terror,
No,
or,
the Balance of Terror. We agree at Locutors of Trek is the best TOS episode. Balance of Terror is a great episode of television, science fiction, submarine movie-ism.
Yes.
It's
But on the other
good
end,
stuff.
neither do I think it's Spock's brain, right? So to me, it's better than average episode, I would say.
No, it's not as bad as Spock's brain.
That's just a train wreck.
Sam says we should debate it on Locutors of Trek. Maybe. Contestants bring their own questions, so one of these live long podcasters could bring that one to the table. We'll see. There's a Debate 9 coming soon. There's got to be. They're fun.
Yeah, more questions would be great.
Well, I think we've rambled. Also, check out my co-host on X-Rated's podcast as well, the Graphic Histories podcast, where he interviews notables from all over the comic and art world. And it's a good show. He's a good interviewer. That's where I'm learning my craft. So, anything else? Any closing thoughts there, Dave, before we give Locutors of give Live Long and Podcast back?
Well, I have to put the isolating your chip with the command code on it, but apart from that, I think I'm spent. So I suppose with that, it just remains to say, end transmission.
That's what I was waiting for.